we're getting into November here, and we've been playing hard and physical. We just can't get the W, So we just got to keep going. All the games have been competitive. We've got to keep competing and break through. That's kind of where we are. Obviously, we've got home game this weekend, homecoming against New Mexico, who's played pretty well here lately, and should be a heck of a game.
Do you see the health on the offensive line being better this week?
It's early in the week to answer that, but obviously the secondary, the offensive line, even linebacker a little bit, even though those guys have been able to play through it, we've been pretty banged up. So, we'll keep going, and it's one of those deals where we've played 9 straight weeks, and we've just kind of got to go with what we've got, and I don't know who that is right now.
Did you hope the depth on the line would be better by this point, or do you kind of anticipate this?
Well, some years, it's funny, I'll go back to conversations we had in August during training camp in terms of being pretty youthful to start with on the offensive line, and then, we have the what-if conversations, and, we've got 3 offensive line coaches on our staff, and the consensus was, look, I've gone many years just playing 5. It's not a position that generally you take a bunch of hits and have attrition, but we have. You plan for it as best you can. The hardest part is when you don't know if some of your better players are going to make it back, who gets the reps in practice. So that's the conundrum we're in right now, and I don't see any way out of it really, other than just keep going, try and get everybody reps and try to get better.
Bobby, that being said, talk about Tim Cornett, the ability things he's been able to do with, like you said, a banged up offensive line, and just what he's done this year.
Yeah, the guys up front are doing some good things. I think it's hurt our consistency, but we have been able to run the ball pretty well. Obviously, Tim and Bradley are the beneficiaries of that. Tim's he gets better all the time. I think he's played better in recent weeks than he has at any time in his career. I think the same is true for Bradley Randall. So those guys got to keep going, and if we're running the ball well and successfully in terms of yards per carry, it gives us a chance to win. And then if they can, if Tim gets out the gate and hits a home run, which he's capable of, that obviously is a big deal.
On the other side, defensively, you've got another challenge with a big runner in New Mexico's running backs. Talk about trying to contain him.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. They're really an option-based attack. Obviously, you guys have probably familiarized yourself with it some the last couple of days. They're in the top 10, top 5 in rushing offense in the country. Not sure who they're going to play at quarterback. So we've got to prepare for a variety of different things. Pending their health, we probably got to prepare for a healthy dose of wildcat type stuff with one of the running backs playing quarterback too.
Talk about getting back home. 4 of the last 5 on the road, and the schedule is what it is, but getting back home and being on the home field. Yeah, it's been kind of a gauntlet a little bit in terms of the schedule. Played some really good teams on the road. It'll be good to be back home for homecoming, and we spent pretty much the whole month of October away and didn't fare well enough. As I said, all the games are competitive, but the right team's not winning. So we got to find a way to get a W, and can't think of a better time than this Saturday here. Tim, I know the last time you guys were home, great start, but a bitter ending to that UNR game. Just talk about getting back home.
I just feel like we got a great opportunity these last 4 games to turn this season into something positive. We can either feel sorry for ourselves about what happened so far, or we can just look at it as a 4-game season and get a winning record out of that. Turn this into something positive and end on a good note to show everyone that we are a good team, and just to prove and just I mean, it's great to go back home and just play hard, because we have been playing hard at home. So it's a great opportunity for us to go out there and play hard and turn this season into something positive.
You said kind of echo that.
Yeah, I think he said it perfectly. I think at this point it's a 4-game season. We just want to end the season on a strong note, and just we just want to finish these last 4 games like we know we can. So.
Bobby, how different is their triple option from what Air Force does?
I'd say in terms of planning, it's probably more like Reno. It's got a little bit more true option component, but it's probably more like plan of Reno.
Does it help that you played in Air Force, beat in Air Force, or does that even factor into this?
Yeah, I suppose a little bit, but again, in terms of what you do against it, it's probably a little bit more like Reno stuff. It's got read zone prints. It's a lot of read zone principle in it, with some load and arcing stuff, and he does pitch it some. But if you go back to some of the things Reno has done with Kaepernick on through now, there's a lot of similarities to that.
Even in the passing game, I guess that's where it struck me looking at New Mexico. It seemed more similar to Air Force. And there were some games where they threw like 1 pass in the entire second half.
Yeah, they're going to let it rip down the field now some to keep you honest. In particular, in first and second down. I mean, they're going to take some shots, and so I guess in terms of Air Force, it's like that, where they're going to take some shots down the field. I don't know off the top of my head what their yards per catch are average, but I bet it's pretty good in terms of big number, double digits. The other thing they've done pretty well is the running back screen, which we've got to be aware of. They have a nice little screen game to the running back that's pretty good too. So that's where they're getting their throwing yards.
Bobby, it looks like you're going to be facing their 3rd-string quarterback, although he's got game experience. Talk about that approach. I mean, you're obviously going to be able to see him, but
yeah, I think if that's the way it works out, I think they'll blend that with the Wildcat stuff. So you'll have to have you have to have 2 kind of different game plans.
I feel like you can kind of take advantage of maybe his. I mean, I can't say inexperience because he's
a JC guy and has played some, and he looked pretty good at the end of the game against Fresno, going down and getting a touchdown. Just drove him down the field, threw the ball pretty well. Hard to say. It's early in the week, and obviously I haven't studied all 3 quarterbacks to know the idiosyncrasies yet, but I'd say it's be a 2-part game plan, one for the Wildcat and one for their base offense.
Tim, when you hear about kind of facing a backup quarterback, 2nd, 3rd string, do you kind of get a little smile as a defensive player? Maybe you can do some more things that you could.
I mean, kind of not really. I mean, San Diego State was kind of the same approach. I just look at them like they're all on scholarship. I mean, I'm sure he's good enough to start if the other quarterback wasn't there. So I kind of don't really pay too much effect in that, because I know they're all there for a reason to play quarterback. So I just, mainly with New Mexico, I just know we're mainly going to have to focus on stopping the run, whether they have a 3rd or 4th string quarterback, and that doesn't affect the running game. So we're mainly going to have to focus on that running game and stop that, and then force him to make throws and stuff, and then see what he's capable of from there. So.
Tim, talking about that running game, Casey Carrier, what is it about him that makes him so good?
I haven't got a chance to really study him. I've just known that he's a good running back from what I heard and from the stats and stuff. But I just know we're just gonna have to go in and watch film and just try to put together a good game plan, and it's gonna take all the front 7 of us just to execute and try to hold them to a minimum game. So it's not gonna be easy, but we look forward to the challenge.
Bobby, if you can just talk about Carrier.
Yeah, he's quick, and he's also got pretty good top end speed. He gets when he runs the zone stuff, he sees it well. When it's in front of him, he gets downhill, does a really nice job of pressing the line of scrimmage, and then when it gets shut off, he comes out the back door and hurts people that way too. So, he's just a good zone runner, and that's what they ask him to do.
Bobby, talk about these last 4 games. I know you take them one at a time, but the importance of having a November, so to speak, to remember and taking these last 4 into next
year. Like Tim said it really well, so did Youssef. We've been really competitive. We just have to find ways to win games. We've got an inability to do that right now, so we need to shove it over the top. And obviously, there are 4 big conference games for us, and we want to have good performances. We've had good performances, but in terms of finishing it and getting W's, that's what we want to do. Obviously, this month, it's important for us to do that moving forward.
Coach, New Mexico's obviously very well improved this year. What's the biggest difference you see from last year's team?
They're a little more veteran. They're doing a lot of different things. They're far different than they were on offense. They've had a complete style change. They've got they got people that can run this offense effectively, and I just think they've got a more veteran team. I mean, they just have grown those guys up. They've got a bunch of senior starters on both sides of the ball, and have done a nice job of getting those guys going the right direction. And winning over at Hawaii was a big win for them, obviously, and they're doing some good things.
Tim, you in the defense had a really strong performance on Saturday. How do you take that going into this Saturday against another backup quarterback?
I mean, same like what I was explaining, like in the recent question. I just feel like we gotta stop the run. That's big, stopping the run and making them open up the playbook. I mean, if we can't, I feel like if we don't stop the run, they don't have to have a big playbook for him to make big decisions and drop back in the pocket and make big throws and stuff. So if we can limit the damage in the run and contain the running backs, I feel like that'll make a third-string quarterback really have to step up, and then we'll see what he's capable of. But first, I think the main focus is stopping the run and stuff and containing the running back, and then we'll see what he can do from there.
Yeah, I was looking at the depth chart when you asked that question. I mean, they've got 10 junior, senior starters on either side of the ball. I mean, they've got some good-looking kids that have grown up and they've taken their lumps, and now they're winning some games, which is good for them.
Even with that, are you at all surprised that Bob's been able to have this much success early in the year? Or
I haven't really thought of it in those terms, frankly, Taylor. No, not particularly. I mean, like I said, I watch the film. I watch them doing what they're doing. I think they're doing some good stuff, and they've got some guys that can do it. So.
You said for early in the season, after some of the losses, I think a lot of the guys, and Bobby, were talking about viewing it as a new year the rest of the way, putting those games behind. And now you guys are talking about viewing it just as a 4-game season. What makes you believe that these last 4 can be different?
Well, I mean, every game is a new opportunity. Every day is a new opportunity in this game to just get better and just compete. So I think that these last 4 games are very winnable for us. I think we're right there. We're doing a lot of good things. We're playing really hard and competitive. We just, like everybody's saying, we just have to put it together. And I think that a lot of the guys in the locker room, a lot of my friends, we're just ready to. We want to win. We have that hunger, and we know that we want to end the season the right way because we put in so much hard work back from fall camp. And we just. Especially me being a senior, these last 4 games, we just want to come out and compete, and we just want to finish strong. Bottom line, we want to finish strong. So,
just to add to that, like what he's saying is that we know that we had our record right now is pretty bad, and just looking back on our record is just negativity that kind of brings us down as a team. So by just looking forward to these last 4 games, which we all believe are winnable, it just gives us some hope. Like we had a bad start. These last 4 games in November gives us something to look forward to bring us forward to next season. So that's what pretty much everybody means by just trying to turn it into a 4-game season, so we can turn the season into something positive and stop looking back and having that negativity bring the team down and all the bad remarks as to, they're not doing good, this and that. That's all negativity brings the team down and separates the team. So by just turning it into a 4-game season, that's just something for everybody to look forward to and just try to spring this team forward and stuff. So that's what we all mean by there's 4 games left. Let's put the past in the past and let's just make the best out of these last 4 games. Try to win them all.
Bobby?
I was going to say, Tim, why has it been so hard? Consistency's been such a big word throughout the season because you show signs. The team shows signs for both players. Just maintaining consistency. It's just inexperience, a mistake here, a mistake there.
Exactly, and it's just pretty much you learn like from a lot of playing experience. I mean, it's just you do get that experience. Like we can't keep giving up these big plays and stuff. I mean that's part of the game, but that does come from like experience and just knowing where you're supposed to be and stuff like that. And that all just builds through just from playing experience. So that's huge. That is huge.
I mean, yeah, it's something where we struggled with this year, being consistent. But it's just, I mean, kind of like you said, a play here, a play there. Just a few things I can think back to that kind of have changed, you know, certain games or like in the grand scheme of things, our season, you know. But experience is a big thing. We still got a lot of young dudes, and you know, there's no room or no time for excuses. But it's just we just have to play more consistent. We have to capitalize when we get opportunities, and you know, there's really no reason for it. There's no answer. We just have to go out and do it on Saturdays, and that's all I can say.
Bobby, with the offense kind of struggling a little bit right now, are there things you guys can do as a coaching staff maybe get the backs out in space, screen pass, anything to open it up a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things you can do. Part of, you know, you go back to the previous questions. You talk about consistency. You know, having wholesale changes in what you do probably don't lend themselves to that real well. You know, we have to protect our quarterback as well. The more people you get out in routes, the less protection you have. So all of that plays into it. So yeah, I mean, we're always going to have some plays that are up and ready to go. If we can get to them, we get to them. If we can't, we can't. You know, last week's not a great example of that because they're pretty different in what they do. So you have to constrict rather than expand your call sheet. But you know, I'd anticipate we have a pretty long call sheet on the offensive side of the ball this week to try to take advantage of what they show us.
And Nick's second half, after he settled down, do you draw encouragement from that going into this week?
Yeah, I do. He's got a unique ability to ride himself within games. You know, one of the things I think as he matures more is we'll have fewer incidences of him being streaky in a negative connotation. I think he'll be more consistent, which will in turn help our offense to be more consistent. But you know, he's got the ability to ride himself within a game, which is a good quality.
Yusuf, with all the injuries in the line, including going through your own issues, how difficult is that when you have to adjust even at practice the guys you play next to?
I mean, you know, it is tough, but injuries are part of the game. You know, we all knew signing up for this game that injuries are going to be part of it, so I don't want that to be like an excuse or anything. But, I mean, it is tough being banged up. You know, we had, you know, a lot of confidence coming into the season as an offensive line, which we still do, but obviously when, you know, the core kind of gets mixed up and you got limited practice reps and stuff like that, you know, things start to become different. But I mean, we still just, you know, we got to put the 5 best, healthiest guys out on the field and just compete and perform at the end of the day. So it's been kind of tough, but I mean, it's something we can fight through, you know.
Bobby, you've got several players from the East Coast, Overs from New York. Obviously, the Hurricanes hitting that side pretty hard. Have you talked to those two?
You know what I've been doing the last couple of days? I've been in a dark room watching film.
Have you talked to them about their families?
I haven't. I probably ought to.
Yeah.
So I will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we got Mike Horsey from Maryland, Oberg, a couple other guys from Garrick's from South Carolina, which I think is probably out of it. But I don't really know what's going on in the world, frankly. Yeah.
Tim and Youssef, the 2 years ago, 2 wins. Last year, 2 wins. This year, 1 win. What's the difference, though, in the locker room as things have progressed? Say, if you had to go back 2 years ago and see how it was last year, how it was, and now this year, is there a difference, or you know?
I mean, just because I'm sure if many people have been watching our season this year, they'll say that the team is different. I mean, we've been competing every game. I mean, 2 years ago, I mean, I was a freshman. I felt like we were getting blown out almost every game. No games were close. We didn't have a chance. But this year, we've been in every game. I felt like every game there's a chance where there was a point where we know we could win the game if we just keep playing hard and consistent. But, I mean, that's the thing. I don't feel like one game this year that there wasn't a chance we could have won. I don't feel like there was just one team that just came and just killed us from the gates. I mean, I feel like we've been competing in every game, and I feel like we're just so close to getting over that hump. Every game was winnable, I feel like, this year.
And you can tell there's a different mood in the locker room.
Yeah, there is. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, just from talking to all the players and stuff, me being a leader this year, I just know there's a difference because everybody's mindset is just, oh dang, I wonder how we're going to do this game. Everybody's mindset is like, we can win this game, and we need to win this game. It's just the matter of just going out there and doing it. Everybody feels like we can win every game that we've played. So I feel like there's a big difference.
Yeah, kind of like what Tim said. I think our confidence level from the time from Coach's first year to now is just like way higher. You know, I think about the first game against Minnesota, and it was like, you know, it's just like there was no doubt that we were going to win, you know, and like it's just like that every week. Every week we got guys that have supreme confidence, you know, and like one thing my offensive line coach says, he says like, you know, if we play okay, if we play, you know, pretty well, we can go into the game and we're going to be in the game, you know, and I feel like that's true, but I feel like if we play an exceptional game, then we're going to win it, you know, and I think it hasn't gone that way. You know, we haven't really put it all together all 4 quarters, but I think there's no doubt in the locker room that we have a good team and that we are headed in the right direction. I just think it's just a matter of putting it all together. It's just a matter of, you know, just you got to keep grinding. That's what it's about. Just keep grinding. You can never get too down. You know, you just got to pick yourself off the mat when things are rough. And but our confidence is a lot higher this year. That's what I think is the biggest difference.
You notice that, Coach? Just, I mean, obviously from your first year to now, just that whole locker room feel, oh, woe is me, where you hear week in, week out that, oh man, we had a chance to, you know, win this game. Or we got a few things here and there.
These guys said it pretty well, but to summarize that, it's a competitive group, and you know, we played a couple of schedules the last couple of years with a team that wasn't capable of doing that, and would have needed some perfect games to get wins in many occurrences, but that's certainly not where we are now. You know, as I said, every week's competitive. We just gotta get it over the top.